It's Mondays with Meghan, and Meghan McCain joins us in the second hour.
Right now.
Good evening, Meghan.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Are you? Did you know that I'm from the mean streets of McLean, Virginia? Did you know that?
I did not know that, but that means you're probably a rich kid.
Oh, wow.
Oh, there you go.
Wow.
No wonder he buys lunch all the time.
Part of Virginia, it's like where all the famous people live. That's not where I live, just FYI.
Okay, just double checking. All right.
Why am I spending money on lunches with him?
You shouldn't be. Meghan, first off, thank you very much. I hope you had a wonderful holiday weekend.
Oh, I hope you guys did too. It's very, very, very cold here, so I'm ready to come home for Christmas.
Good. Yeah, it was 82 today in Phoenix. Just saying.
Did you see what Andy Biggs tweeted?
I missed it.
All right.
Ready.
Arizona representative. Meghan, tell me if you agree with this. Andy Biggs. Obviously, the big news of the day is that Biden has pardoned his son, Hunter. So Andy Biggs says Hunter Biden's a criminal, but his corrupt father won't let justice be served under an administration that follows the rule of law. And there's no smiley face next to it.
He didn't have the LOL emoji in there?
Joe Biden will go down as one of the most corrupt presidents in American history. Okay. Should he have done this? Should he have pardoned his son? What do you think, Meghan?
So Andy Biggs has a really chaotic Twitter feed, just in general.
Fair.
FYI.
Fair.
He has a really chaotic, embarrassing. Sometimes I don't know if it's parody or real. I'm really mixed on this. The human part of me is I understand it because obviously anyone who has kids or doesn't have kids, you understand the desire to help a loved one and to, ease suffering and whatever. But the political part of me just thinks this gives ammo to, people like Kash Patel being nominated to be the head of the FBI. And his whole thing is, I'm going to drain the swamp and everybody's so corrupt and everybody's using the judicial systems to target Trump. It's really giving, I think, fodder that there is a totally different set of standards for elites in power than anyone else. And just, I have questions. I don't think that President Biden is the most corrupt president in American history. I think that's really histrionic and ridiculous.
Of course.
But I have real questions about, some of the foreign money dealings that Hunter Biden did with Felisa and with Ukraine that happened while President Biden was vice president. And I don't love any of it, but the human part of me understands it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I wonder if, and, we may never know, that the post Joe Biden getting out of the race, that it changed his calculus from the, all right, you guys don't want me. I'm doing whatever the hell I want whenever the hell I want.
Forced out, and now I'm going to do something that I want to do.
Guess what? I could care less what impact it has on the rest of you.
Interesting.
I'm going out the way I want to go
Interesting.
out. I wonder if that's part of the thought process.
I definitely think he's in the mess around and find out phase of his presidency. I can't say that on the air, but, I just think that he's 81. I think he's almost 82 years old. His legacy is not going to be, I think, what was hoped. Obviously, he leaves as an unpopular president who ushered back in a huge Trump win in every branch of government. And I think he's I still have this power for another month 2 months, and I'm going to use it the way I can.
Yeah, maybe he went down this road. I've already lost one son. I don't want to lose a second one.
Oh, wow.
And I have the power to help my other son.
And I don't like the what about game. Don't get me wrong. Does anybody believe Donald Trump wouldn't pardon his sons? In any world, for a parking ticket, for anything, do you believe that he wouldn't?
Oh, no, he'd sure.
He'd pre-pardon them.
Both families are very corrupt in different ways. And I do think there's I think the American public are much savvier than they used to be, with the resurgence of social media, just have a lot more access to information. And I think, these are both people who, for my comfort, their families are way too involved in their political careers. That may sound ironic coming from me, but I do think there should be, very clear guidelines about what roles each people play. And look, it's there's a lot of allegations of business dealings between Jared and Ivanka that happened in the last administration and current business dealings, in the Middle East with Jared and Ivanka, Kushner. So I don't like any of it. I think, why can't you just have a normal job away from government that, in some way uses government influence? But yeah, and I expect there to be, by the way, if I'm still, on the radio with you guys in 4 years, I expect there to be a bunch of weird pardons from Trump when he
Of course there will be.
leaves.
Yeah.
He already pardoned Kushner's dad. A guy who pled guilty, by the way.
He pardoned a lot of
He
people.
wasn't wrong. He didn't say he was a wrong guy.
Meghan McCain is joining us.
And he's our new ambassador to France.
Right.
The French deserve him, quite honestly.
Meghan McCain is joining us Mondays with Meghan. The big news of Biden pardoning 2 turkeys last week and then saved the big turkey for this weekend.
Gaydos is really proud of that joke.
I wrote it
Meghan
earlier,
laughed at the
and
joke.
I'm just recirculating jokes, trying to get some
Very
ratings.
proud of that one.
Meghan, should Biden now pardon Trump on whatever federal stuff he's got going and make it fair? I think he should.
I do too, just for the good of the country. I feel like heading into the next Trump administration, things still feel very chaotic. And although he did win by, the popular vote and the Electoral College, his popular vote win is extremely slim. I think it's like less than 2 points now.
1.4 or something, yeah.
Yeah, who's counting though?
Yeah,
Bruce is counting.
But I think that we should be, in a place of healing, and I would like to see it. Although I'm, pretty convinced he did some of the things that he's being accused of.
Right.
But I think it would be better for the country. I hope we can heal and move on. But everything for me, like the world just feels really deeply chaotic and really unstable. And some of these cabinet position choices are so out of the realm of normalcy that it's already giving me like overwhelming anxiety and fear about what the next administration is going to look like. And, it seems like President Trump is pretty, hell-bent on burning things to the ground. But after you burn something to the ground, what do you leave in its place? And that's my question with a lot of these appointments.
Yeah, exactly. What does it look like in 4 years or 2 years or whatever? I think that's a solid argument. And I got to believe there's a lot of people in D.C. That are also a little bit worried about their jobs, or maybe they work in a department that they think might not exist in January. I mean, there's got to be some anxiety along with that.
Yeah, and I think if you're, someone who just has played a traditional role in government, however people feel about lifelong bureaucrats who have been working in Washington, D.C. When you're talking about, I think Kash Patel said he was going to completely dismantle the FBI and expose the deep state. And again, I'm curious what that actually looks like. And again, is the FBI going to exist? Because they thwart a lot of terror threats and terror attempts in this country. And I like having the FBI existing. I like the Department of Education. So I'm always skeptical of people who just want to burn things to the ground, because it's very, for me, like something teenagers want to do with no realistic ideas of what they're going to put in its place. And like I said, some of these people who are up for very huge cabinet positions are people I wouldn't trust to pick up my dry cleaning, let alone run some of these positions.
Meghan McCain joins us every Monday.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. You don't have to be sorry. Hey, let me give you a strange story. After the election, we talked about how, a lot of people on the left, and I would just say this, far left, just out of their minds that Donald Trump won. It happens in elections. But did you hear about, and Newsweek spoke to multiple women that are now getting elective surgical procedures to render themselves infertile.
Come off of it.
All because Trump won the election. And now they're speaking out about their decision and saying it's because they fear a reproductive rights crackdown under a second Trump administration. I was wondering if you heard about this story, and if you did or didn't, what do you make of it?
I have not heard that story, and that's obviously very disturbing for a lot of different reasons. I don't know how rational I find that, just because, thank God, in this country we do have states' rights. And, I think we're governed a lot more locally than we are nationally. But I think it speaks to how divided we are and the level of misinformation and fear that is just going around in media in general. I just saw this morning that MSNBC this last month had its lowest ratings in the history of MSNBC, with less than 38,000 people from the 25 to 54-year-old demographic watching at all, which, how many more people are listening to this radio show right now?
We got more than that. I can guarantee you.
We better have more than that. We're going to get fired tomorrow.
We got more than that.
No shade, but more people watch my Instagram stories every day. So it's whatever. But I just think we're at a time where people are so distrustful of the media because there's been so much misinformation and so many lies. And I feel compassion for women like this because they're being lied to. I do not believe that abortion isn't going to exist in the United States of America. I do not believe that anyone's going to be banning birth control. But I think people are just having these really histrionic reactions on both sides to so many things because we're not living in a baseline of reality and honest journalism. That's my take on that. But it's a very sad, disturbing story.
I think you make a good point there, Megan, and we will end your wonderful visit with us on that. Yeah, I think there's some people that are getting bad information. By the way, all spectrums, they get really bad information and they cling to it as facts and the truth, and it's just not true. Megan?
Yes, I was forwarded something recently, speaking of Newsweek, that was a total ridiculous article. And my friend said, it's from Newsweek. And I was like, no, this is newsweek.world.net. This is like a real website.
It's not even a real one.
Oh, my gosh.
I know.
Gosh.
So
Don't get taken.
We're all dealing with, yes. Anyway, it's so nice to speak with you guys as well. I'm going to be home in Arizona in a few weeks. Maybe I can come in studio to see you, which would be really fun.
Great.
And I'm so excited to come home for the holidays.
We'll welcome you home.
Talking, guys.
We'll keep the heater on here. Don't you dare worry. That's Meghan McCain. Mondays with Meghan. Outstanding.
Thanks for watching Outspoken with Bruce and Gaydos. Tap to watch more from KTAR News and click the button in the middle to subscribe.